The Republican Party is in real trouble. They proved it to all of us this week. Their primary strategy, as it relates to Donald Trump right now, is dead wrong, and it will cost them the election and the White House. Now, there's been trouble brewing behind the scenes that has occasionally seeped out. But this week, Republicans took a direct hit at Donald Trump, their leading Republican presidential frontrunner in every national poll. Now, last I heard, only animals eat their young, and maybe a few cannibals. Example, Republican Governor Nikki Haley, designated by Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell to rebut President Obama's last State of the Union address, instead of taking the opportunity to identify how this Democrat administration has failed us, takes a shot and chastises Donald Trump. Instead of commenting how out of sync Democrats are with the American people, how Obama's feckless foreign policy has turned us into an international joke, repeatedly negotiating with terrorists, creating safety and security problems for Americans, the world has never been a more dangerous place, the military never more shackled, the Second Amendment never in more danger, and our children and grandchildren never in more debt. The most dangerous terrorist organization of the world has ever known is now focused on us. And Nikki Haley takes a shot at Donald Trump? What you think? Who anointed you to take a shot at the leading contender for president in your own party in a nationally televised historic rebuttal, when you could have laid out a strategy of how the very fabric of America has changed under this Democratic so-called leadership? How about you turn your unsolicited comments toward the president's incendiary comments against your party? Why don't you tell him to tone down the rhetoric? And by the way, there was a time, Nikki Haley, when you were one of the angriest voices. You came in a Tea Party wave, angry about what was happening in America. And now you epitomize the very establishment that you promised to change. So why would the Republicans not want their lead candidate to advance? I'll tell you why. Because Donald Trump doesn't do the Washington two-step, where one hand washes the other, where you overlook my vulnerabilities and I'll overlook yours, and then we all get to come back. Those who are more interested in serving their incumbency than the American people. Why else would Republicans agree to a budget that includes federal funding for sanctuary cities that allows illegals to both commit crimes, felonies, and murders to not be arrested or even deported? Now, the Republicans, they all grandstanded about the lawless actions and how they were not going to reward these sanctuary cities. But then they danced with the Democrats, passed the budget, and went home for Christmas. I'll tell you what, folks, Donald Trump is not beholden or vulnerable to any of them. Nikki, you're worried about Donald's voice? Americans are tuning into debates in historic numbers, and I'll tell you who the angriest voices are. The angriest voices are the American people. We've been gutted. We're scared, and the American dream is not what it used to be. Unless, of course, you're an illegal immigrant. And by the way, aren't you a right-to-work state? And you tell us to tone it down? To turn down the volume? Nikki, maybe you and your establishment friends in the Republican Party ought to turn down your own volume and start listening to us. Start supporting your own party's frontrunner, the person Republicans want. Your strategy is all wrong. Start supporting the frontrunner. There's a reason, by the way, that you elected politicians are all held in such low esteem. Be careful. Be very, very careful. Get in line behind our favorite. After all, in case you've forgotten, you work for us, and you too can be fired. And that's my opening statement. Tell me what you think on my Facebook page or Twitter, #Judge Jeanine.